of the biggest night in Super League, when the two best teams from the competition will battle it out for the ultimate trophy. It's time to celebrate the season's best performers and some of the best from the last 20 years. We're at the 2015 Man of Steel Awards, when all the movers and shakers of the season are revealed. Plus, we will be talking to two men for whom 2015 marks the end of a long and illustrious career. Modern legends taking their final rugby league bow. Welcome to this special Boots and All from Lancashire Cricket Club, just down the road from the other Old Trafford, ahead of the big game, the grand final tomorrow. We'll be talking to some special guests about the big game. But first of all, we've got one sitting right here next to me. It's the man they call Sir Kevin Sinfield on the terraces of Headingley. It's great of you to be here tonight, Kevin. It's a poignant night for you as well, isn't it? It's probably your last Man of Steel.
Yeah, it is, yeah. We had the press conference today at Old Trafford, and that's my last one. And to be here tonight, it's my last one, so sad, but also quite exciting as well to what's to come on Saturday. Another
grand final. The way to end the career, it's the way to do it in rugby league, isn't it? Just to win another grand final, or even just getting there, I suppose, is the achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually proud of the team and what we've achieved over the years. I think this year in particular, with the opportunity we have, you know, we get that win on Saturday night, we can be good enough, then it makes it a really, really special year for the whole club. We realise how tough the challenge is in front of us. We're going to a champion team, and they want to win it just as much as we do. So it's nice to be here. It's nice to have been at the press conference today. You won't find me saying that very often, but having not been in a grand final for 3 years, you know, it was good to be back today.
What a way to do it, though. I mean, to win the Challenge Cup, that's one thing. Then to, on the back of that, have a couple of losses, which looked as though you might just let the league leaders slip out of your hands, and then that Ryan Hall try, which got you that trophy. That was just spectacular, really.
Yeah, I mean, Wembley was brilliant. You know, we really enjoyed that. Backing up from last year was a huge challenge, and to get the result was fantastic. And then we had the wobble, didn't we? We had a blip. We come up against three very determined teams who wanted to knock us off, and deservedly got one over on us. So we had to regroup. You know, at that time, you know, a lot of people were writing us off. Thankfully, we went to Huddersfield, and Saints had beat Wigan the week before, and gave us an opportunity really to go to Huddersfield, and we knew that if we won, we'd clinch the Shield. So it probably was a little bit too tense for everybody. But what an incredible night. You know, I think to win a game in the last second, or the last few seconds, is very, very special. But to do it when there's a trophy up for grabs, and when you know that the helicopter would set off, and all those little things, that just meant for it to be a great night for everybody. And I think that gave us a springboard into the Saints game. We knew how tough that was going to be. We've had some huge battles with them over the years in semis and finals, and what a great club they are. You know, we've got a real healthy respect for them. I've got some good friends there, and you know, I think the way Kieran has adapted to being a head coach has been brilliant, and I think that club's just going to go from strength to strength. So the game could have gone either way. Thankfully, we managed to get our noses in front and get the win, and it sets it up pretty nicely now. So really looking forward to it.
To get the last chance to play at home, I mean, you will be playing there again, playing for Headingley Carnegie, but for this special band of brothers to be together at home, to win that game, to get you through to the grand final, it must have been emotional but overwhelming in some ways.
Yeah, it was a little bit strange Friday morning. I was very nervous, more nervous than I've been for a number of years, and I knew how big the game was, with what were at stake, but also I wanted to try and leave a good last impression. The fans came out like they always do and were brilliant. What a great atmosphere it was to play in. So just like to thank them for all the support over the years. It's been a huge honour to play there every week.
With all of that emotion involved, to kick that 40-20, which with hindsight did turn the game, it shows the nerves of steel that run through your body.
I don't know about nerves of steel, Angela. I've tried that all year and not got one, so I think it was due one. Thankfully it bounced the right side of the line, and you know, at the time the game was in the balance and we needed a bit of field position. You know, thankfully the game, the momentum can change on such small things. So the rest is history, as they say. But we know how tough that game was, and delighted to come through at the end, knowing it was my final game there, in front of that crowd, and knowing what was at stake meant it another special night.
It was, and I'd like to take you back right to the very beginning, another special nights that you would have, and making your debut at the age of 16, 17 for a team like this. What was it like for you, coming through the academy and then going into the first team?
Yeah, it was daunting. You know, some of the players that were in the side back then had grown up watching, and suddenly to get thrust in and given an opportunity at 16-year-old was one of the toughest nights I've had. But probably one of the best as well, because it showed me that I wasn't quite ready for Super League. It showed me what I needed to do in the off-season to get myself right, to try and hold a spot down in the future. And we lost against Sheffield in the last few minutes, so you know, I've got mixed emotions about it. But to get an opportunity at 16 was unbelievable, and you know, I thank Dean Bell for giving me that chance. And the players in and around the dressing room at that time were brilliant, and looked after me like a little brother.
And then in 2003, I think it was, when you stepped up to the captaincy, there's another big landmark in your career, and possibly one you can only dream of when you're a 16-year-old making your debut.
Yeah, you know, Darryl Power was coach at the time, and we have a great relationship. And you know, and you look how well Darryl's done now, coaching at Castleford in particular. He's had a brilliant career, but I played alongside him. You know, it was someone I really looked up to, and he was the coach and offered me the captaincy job at 22, and an absolute dream come true. I didn't think I'd still be in the job 13 seasons later, but you know, it's been unbelievable. You know, I've really enjoyed every minute of it.
I think it was the next year, wasn't it, where the winning started with the first grand final, and then I think there was a World Club Challenge win over the Bulldogs as well. Like you say, 22-year-old captain, winning your first grand final and the start of something really big. Did you feel that at that moment, that this was a special team coming together?
Yeah, I think we'd had so many successful academy teams, but never quite been able to bridge the gap and get an influx of them into the first team. And I think losing becomes a habit, and it had done at Headingley. We needed to try and change that, and thankfully, you know, 2004, 2005 we lifted some trophies. Then it went away for a season, and thankfully it came back. So there was a lot of hunger, a lot of determination, a lot of drive from so many people, so many players who wanted to experience lifting trophies over and over again. And I just feel so fortunate to have been around during that time, to have been lucky enough to captain the team during that time. You know, it's been a really special time in the club's history, and you know, I'm very thankful for the career I've been able to have there.
2007 was special, wasn't it? That time up there with Tony Smith as well, lifting that trophy on the precipice of the greatest period of Leeds Rhinos history.
Yeah, look, they were all special, Angela, and I think now, I think someone told me today at the press conference, 14 trophies in 13 years as captain, and wow, you know, if you'd have told me that back when I was 22, if you'd told me that when I was 16 making my debut, you know, I'd have snapped your hand off. So each one has been and is very special, and you know, I'll never forget any of them.
We talk about 2007, 2008 was another testing season, but 2009 to do 3 on the bounce, it's never been done before. Gosh knows whether it'll be done again, but tell me what that was like. There were some really heartfelt speeches as well on the steps up there at Old Trafford.
Yeah, well, 2009 was special for a few different reasons, but with it being the third one, I think in 2007 and 2008 we probably didn't get the credit we deserved. We hadn't finished top of the table. I think Saints had finished top both years, won the league leaders, and we came and pipped them at the post in the grand final. And I think a lot of people around the game thought there was an injustice towards St Helens, and I can understand that, but thankfully 2009 we were league leaders as well, and so to cement that and then go on and win the grand final was a very special one.
Because you'd done that then, you'd done the league leaders and the grand final, so it didn't matter that you could have won it from 5th after that, did it? Twice?
No, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Couple of two real tough years. Thankfully we only remember the back end of them, the last 4 or 5 weeks, but real roller coaster seasons where we'd be brilliant and then awful, We didn't really have any consistency until that back end, and there was just a whole lot of belief. I think having won the trophies that we've won previously, it just, for some reason, it happened for us. It was just right place, right time, and things clicked, and both of them were great wins as well.
Like you say, it's a winning habit, and you had a team around you who knew how to win and enjoyed that feeling, were hungry for that feeling.
Yeah, and a lot of them are big game players as well, so the bigger the occasion, the better they perform. And with that, it spurs the guy on next to him, who spurs the guy on next to him. So, yeah, we had some special times. You know, the core group of players for those grand finals, for those league leaders wins, stayed together through that, and we added to that a sprinkling of world-class talent from all over the world, and some great juniors again, and we had the right ingredients.
I'm just looking here, like the records that you've got, top goal and point scorer in the club's history. Been at the helm as captain through the most successful ever period. You've got MBE, Golden Boot. There's not much, Harry Sunderland Trophy, Lance Todd Trophy. They're just such a glittering list of things that you've achieved in your career. Did you ever, in a million years, think you'd achieve those? And was it the ambition and the hunger that got you through to strive to do that?
I'm not quite sure. I just think you know, I wanted to try and improve every day. Wanted to try and get better, and I think we've had a taste of winning trophies. You just want more of it. You get greedy, and you know, some of those awards are, you know, are unbelievable, and I'm sure in the coming years, when I start to reflect on my career, I mean, I'm certainly proud of them now, but I look back really fondly. But ultimately, we're a team sport, and probably what means more to me, in fact it does, is the grand final wins, the 2 Challenge Cup wins we've had, the World Clubs, the league leaders, all those team trophies, you know, are the ones that have given me the best memories.
You've, as we say, you've won all of those, but never a Man of Steel. You're one of it's like a little band of really high-profile, fantastic players. Adrian Morley, Kieran Cunningham, you never won the Man of Steel.
No. I think all those winners throughout the years have fully deserved it. You know, I have no problem. I think it's a fantastic award, a great award to win. There've been some great players of our game who've won that award, and you know, I never look at it upon there's something missing. I've been nominated once, and I was really proud of that. But I have to say, ultimately, again, we're a team sport, and you know, I'd swap all of those individual honours that I've won over my career for another grand final win on Saturday, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, you've got 2 here nominated from your team to get the Man of Steel tonight, and you couldn't vote for them. Who did you vote for this year's Man of Steel?
I actually voted for Alex Walmsley.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Who do you think will get it?
I don't know. I think it's really close. Look, I'm not just trying to sit on the fence, but I don't know. I'd like to think one of our boys would win it, but you know, like I mentioned earlier, I'm very respectful of St Helens and what they've done, and how they conduct themselves as a team, how they play the game. So you know, there'd be no qualms for me at all if Alex won it. I think all 3 would be really worthy winners. They've all had fantastic years.
So, hanging up your boots, well, not really. You're going to carry on playing, but a big momentous decision in your career to make. Just tell us about why and why now.
Yeah, simply, I didn't want any regrets. You know, I feel so blessed and fortunate the career I've had. But I didn't want to get a few years on and look back and think, why didn't I ever go? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and have a try, and if it doesn't work, I ain't lost anything. But I'll give it my all. And to have something, a challenge like this at 35, something that really excites you, I think is great for me personally. I'm joining a real hungry group, a real hungry team who want to play in the Premiership, as do I. I want to test myself at the top level in rugby union, and just a huge challenge, and one I couldn't turn down.
So you'll be walking out at Old Trafford tomorrow, leading the team out for the last time. I don't want to make you cry or anything like that, but it does feel like there's an end of an era. You, Jamie Peacock, Kelly Luluai, things are changing in this game and it's moving to the next stage, but an end of an era. Do you feel that?
I don't. Probably something that's down to I'm not quite ready to. I know we've talked a little bit about the past tonight, but not quite ready to reflect yet. I'm not quite ready to sit back and look at my career. There are going to be some changes, but I think what's comforting is the players we've got coming through, the young lads who I know are in our academy system, who I know are in our first team squad, who I know are playing first team rugby with us at the minute. I know the quality that we've got, and that's certainly comforting to know that the team, the club are in real safe hands, and it's nice to be leaving knowing that the club is in far better shape than when I joined. And it is going to change, and not everything can last forever, but it's been an unbelievable time, and you know, one I'm very, very fortunate and thankful for.
And the game's been fortunate to have you, and of course you've won an award tonight as well, Top Gun.
Thank you.
Go out on a high. Thanks very much for talking to us, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he's won the Top Gun, and there were other winners here tonight at the Man of Steel Awards. This year's top try scorer picked up his award for scoring 27 tries this season. It's Jermaine McGilvery. Meter maker was St Helens' Alex Walmsley, and hitman Hull FC's Danny Houghton. Many more awards to come from the Man of Steel evening after the break, plus we talk to another modern legend of the game.
Less than 3% of people support England in a way that matters. We need 100,000 new blood donors. So, do something amazing. Bleed for England. Register today to become a new donor.
We gave people the Andrex Clean routine to try and asked them how clean they feel after going to the loo.
I feel as clean as a hippo.
Hippo?
Hippopotamus. As clean as pink candy floss. As clean as a squid.
As clean as a squid. I love that.
How Andrex do you feel?
Sicario is the thriller of the year. Emily Blunt gives an Oscar-worthy performance. 5 stars. Sicario in cinemas now.
Hey, you! Join us here, Friday night after 8 p.m.
For those of you who like to share your breaks, try new Kit Kat Snap and Share.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, I learned how to get along. I will survive.
Take home the blockbuster of the year. Mad Max Fury Road is stunning. 5 stars. A triumph. Buy it now.
Hydration where you least expect it. From your razor. Wilkinson Sword Hydro. Water-activated gel hydrates your skin as you shave. And Skin Guards smooth skin to reduce friction and irritation. Experience our best shave for your skin with Hydro 5 from Wilkinson Sword. Part of our Hydro range. Now half price. Wilkinson Sword. Free your skin.
Hold tight. Open your head. Take a glass. Don't be scared.
The Power of Boss. The Scent. The new fragrance for men.
If you love music and if you love comedy, you're gonna love this. Bring the Noise, coming soon to Sky One.
Welcome back to this Boots and All special ahead of the grand final. Later on, we'll be talking to the Man of Steel himself. But first, a man who needs no introduction. He was there at the very beginning of Super League and played this year too. It's the one and only Adrian Morley. Right at the very beginning and before that as well.
Yes, I played 2 seasons before the first year of Super League. There was a shortened season, if you remember, in '95, but I debuted in the '94-95 season, so I experienced winter rugby as a professional, and then much prefer the summer era. And if I didn't feel old, I certainly feel old talking about that now.
You must have been a baby when you did that, though, because the longevity you've had is amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised the career's gone on for as long as it has. I debuted as a 17-year-old at Leeds. I remember it well. It was Good Friday against Hull at home, and then yeah, the years just kept on rolling, and over 20 years later, finally decided to call it a day.
Well, you kind of went through most of the season without saying that. It was at the latter end of this year where you thought it is time to give up. Why do you think now?
Well, in the back of my mind, I thought it was going to be my last, but then I thought I'll just see how it pans out. I was pleased with how the performances did go. I would hate to have been a burden, and for the other players to be carrying me. I felt as though I held my own, but just towards the end of the season, I went as pleased with the performances as I should have been. The body was probably giving me the signs saying it's time to give up. The defining point was we played Bradford away. I didn't play particularly well, and I got a whack on my neck. I was on the floor and I had pins and needles in my arm. My little boy was watching, and I just thought if I get stretchered off here with a neck brace, it'd break his heart. And I just thought I don't need this anymore. I've had my time. Didn't want to tempt fate and go on a year too long. And it's nice to go out, still being picked every week. So I just thought that's it for me. But 38-year-old, 20 years, it's not a bad career.
It's not bad at all. It's absolutely phenomenal. But walking out there for the last time, tell me what's going through your mind.
Well, for the last time, it was still emotional, but my favourite, I've had 2 farewells really. My last home game, which was when we played Sheffield, and my little boy, my second little boy, was born on the Wednesday, and then on the Sunday I went out with all 3 of my kids, and both teams formed a guard of honour, and they got a couple of special people from Salford to do a couple of presentations, and that really was emotional. And then the Hull KR was my last official game, and the Hull KR fans were absolutely fantastic. I want to thank the Hull KR fans. They actually made a big deal, singing songs about me, and it really was nice. So I've been really pleased with the farewell. Mixed emotions, in one way very, very sad to be leaving this sport, in another way excited about the next chapter in my life.
We'll talk about the future in a bit, but let's go right back to the very beginning. When you signed for Leeds, you weren't really planning on signing for Leeds. You wanted to play for your hometown club, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I lived about 200 metres from the Willows. Mad Salford fan. I've been a Salford fan for as long as I can remember, and wanted to sign for Salford. And out of my amateur side, five of us signed pro. 4 went to Salford, and I went to Leeds. But just the simple reason that Salford never come in for me. Swinton offered me a contract, so did Lee. But then Leeds, at the time, apart from Wigan, Leeds are one of the better sides, so it wasn't a bad second prize. Anyway, went to Leeds. The week after, Salford rang up, said we're keen, but it was too late then. But I'm pleased with how it finally panned out.
No regrets?
No regrets, because Leeds at the time had a policy of giving young lads a chance, and I did get my chance under Doug Lawton as a 17-year-old, and yeah, I've still got a massive soft spot for Leeds and the Headingley and everything that goes with it.
So it's Wigan-Leeds in the grand final tomorrow, and you'll remember the very first grand final, which was Wigan-Leeds as well. Just what are your memories of that?
I remember it very well. It was all new to us, the grand final. Obviously, it's been around in Australia for years, but we had an Australian coach at the time, Graham Murray, and a couple of Australian players, Brad Godden and Mark Glanville in particular, who played in grand finals, and they were hitting home just how big a deal it was. It weren't until the actual night. There was only, I say only, but there was 40,000 people there. I mean, now it's a sellout, but the noise and the atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. I remember the rain being terrible conditions, and we'd actually beaten Wigan twice that year, home and away, but they were just too good for us in the grand final. But as the years gone on, the grand finals grew into the main game of the rugby league, and quite rightly so. But very, very proud to have played in the first one. Just wish we'd have got the win.
Well, you did get a win the year after, didn't you? You got your Challenge Cup win then.
Yeah, got the Challenge Cup win. So I think that making the grand final was the catalyst for the success Leeds have had all this time. I mean, they've been in an amazing amount of finals, both Challenge Cup and the grand final. So yeah, to play at Wembley was a dream of mine. I went down with the Leeds squad in '95 as travelling reserve as a 17-year-old. I might have celebrated my 18th birthday down there, but there was no pressure on me. But I just remember at the time thinking I'd love to get the chance to play there, and 4 years later I did, and we got the win against London. And yeah, it was great, and I'm really pleased I got the chance to play at the old Wembley, and of course the new Wembley later on.
You're one of the first, really, of the new vanguard of English players going to play down under as well, and you know, the chance to play for the Roosters was a fantastic one for you, but the first year didn't quite go to plan, did it?
No, it didn't. There was a number of reasons. A little bit homesick, believe it or not. Sydney and Salford, you wouldn't think you'd get homesick, but I did. Suspension here and there, believe it or not. No. No. Yeah, a couple of injuries, and I didn't have a terrible season by any means, but I just weren't pleased with how it went as a whole, and I knew there was a lot more to come from me, and the second year it went really well then, and that's when we took out the title, and then I was really settled, and then, you know, the next 4 years were great.
They were amazing, weren't they? That was the first, that title in 2002 was the club's first in 27 years. You know, it's just amazing to be part of that history.
It is amazing. I mean, every club I've been at, even when Leeds, before the Cup final in '99, they'd not won it for 20 odd years. The Roosters had not won the grand final for 20 odd years, and Warrington for 30 odd years. So I've been really pleased that wherever I've gone, we've not only won something, we've done it, not having done it for a long time. So
you man with the Midas touch.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to give up?
Yeah. But no, to do that with the Roosters was great. The nice thing was, reading the programme before the game, it had a list of the English players who'd played in the grand final and English players who'd won one, and very few in both lists. And you know, to join that elite band was pretty special.
You kind of proved to the Australians that every Englishman wasn't a poor player. You went over there and you really wowed it, and it started this kind of stream of players going over. Gareth Ellis was one, Sam Burgess is the latest one as well. It really opened the doors for good quality players.
It did, and you know, I'd like to think I was a bit of a pioneer, because at the time there was no English players over there playing, and I think it was, at the time, there was a lot of Australians over here. There was more money in the Super League, but I didn't go for the money. I went for the challenge, and thankfully it went well. And as I was coming back, there was a number of players, Brian Carney for instance, and yeah, I think there's 7 or 8 over there now. So yeah, they're doing really well. Very proud of them guys. But yeah, it was an amazing experience, and you know, when I speak to young British players, I advise them to go out there. You know, the life experience is phenomenal.
Talk about your international career, because it was a glittering career. We'll miss out one particular aspect of that we've talked about in plenty of time in the past. But I mean, it's something you've got to be really proud of, despite the fact that we didn't win an Ashes series over the Aussies.
Yeah, that's one of my big regrets. I've not got many regrets. One of them is, though, not having much success internationally. I remember making my debut in '96, and my final game was in 2012. So, having been a pro for 20 years, 16 of them as an international, that's something I'm amazingly proud of.
And so you should be. Then you came back over here, didn't you? And you had that little season with the Bradford Bulls. That's not really been done since, and
no.
It was an unusual one.
It was Andrew Johns planted the seed. He'd signed the short-term contract with Warrington, and then my old mate, you know, the current Great Britain coach, Brian Noble, rang up and said, if the Roosters don't make the playoffs, will you come and play for Bradford? And looking back to my Leeds days, Bradford were the arch enemy. I actually rang Leeds and said there could be an opportunity, and Gary just said, oh, I don't think Tony Smith's keen, and so that was the end of that option. But Bradford, to be fair, they looked after me amazingly well, and I felt like I wouldn't change anything, but I felt a bit like an imposter.
Like you turned up at the last minute.
Exactly, yeah. The boys had sweat and toiled all year, and here comes Moz just to play the last 6 games, which I did, and we ended up going to Old Trafford, ironically against Leeds, and we ended up getting the win. But it was, again, it's something that would never change, but yeah, it feels a little bit hollow the grand final victory.
But you also then became, I think, the first Englishman to win a Super League title and the NRL title. That's something that nobody can take away from you.
Yeah. Again, that's another thing I'm very proud of. Yeah, there's been a number of Aussies who've done it, but no Englishmen. So yeah, that's something I'm proud of.
Then you signed for Warrington, and you spent most of, well, the longest stint at any club at Warrington, didn't you? So you must have felt comfortable with the Wolves.
Oh, very much so. I remember speaking to Simon Moran in Australia, and I always wanted to finish my career in the Super League, and I was very impressed with what Simon said in terms of his plans for the future. And but then Wigan come in, and it was a bit of a toss-up.
You could have played for Wigan?
Yeah, but then looking back to my young days, we grew up hating Wigan because they used to win everything, so that had a bit of a sway towards Warrington. And plus, it's the next town along from Salford, so I could get to live in Salford. But once I made the decision, I was very excited to be back. And again, the first year didn't go particularly well. I broke my cheekbone. I did it twice actually, and then wasn't really pleased. But then the next year it went well, and then it started going well. And that's the first club I got asked to captain, which was an honour I didn't take lightly. I was very, very proud of that. And yeah, really pleased with how the Warrington career went. We had a bit of success there, winning the 3 Challenge Cups, League Leaders Shield. Just failed at the grand final twice, but I think it's an achievement making the grand final in itself. But would love, my final game was actually the grand final. Would love to have got the win, because that would have put the icing on the cake really, but you can't have everything.
That was the thing about Warrington. They'd been underachievers for so many years, and you come along and it's the golden period in Super League for them. What was it about that team and you and what gelled to make that happen?
Well, you got to give Simon Moran credit. He assembled a fantastic squad. Paul Cullen also, he had a hand in assembling the squad. And then Tony Smith's arrival, obviously Tony's got a proven track record in taking teams to major finals, and yeah, that's what it was. It was just a combination of a great squad, well coached, and yeah, we finally was making these major finals rather than being the bridesmaids.
And then the dream come true, really. You get to sign and play for your hometown club. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I've been a Salford fan for as long as I can remember, and wherever I've played, I've always kept my eye on Salford, hoping they did well. And when I got the opportunity, Marwan rang and said, look, we'd like to bring you home and allow you to play for the club. I knew I'd not got long left physically in terms of playing, but yeah, once I got the opportunity, it was something I couldn't pass on. The career without playing for my own town, I felt would have felt a little bit flat, and so I finally got the chance. It was just going to be 1 year, and then go into the administrative side. But I was pleased with how it went last year, and Justin as coach, he said, would you like to go on again and another year? And then but now's finally the chance to hang the boots up. But really pleased I got to wear the Red Devil badge. And
what's next for you then now?
Yeah, they want to keep me involved there at Salford. They've just labelled it like an ambassador, but there'll be a number of roles to the job, and delighted to get to stay involved in the sport, and really pleased it's with my hometown as well. So I will miss the game, I'll miss the challenge and the competitive side, but I'm really looking forward to this next part, and I hopefully have an impact off the field as I used to have one on it.
And you're not giving up sporting sort of endeavours, are you? You're climbing a mountain, not only a mountain, it's the highest freestanding mountain in the world.
That's right. Out of the fire into the out of the frying pan into the fire.
Will the knees take it?
Yeah, I think they will. But yeah, we've agreed to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and not only climb it, play a game of rugby league at the top. It's for the Steve Prescott Foundation. We've got in touch with the Guinness Book of Records, and it'll be the highest game of rugby league ever played. And unless someone plays a game on Everest, it'll never be beat the record. So something I'm looking forward to. There's a number of ex-players, ex-teammates. Badder McDermott, Lee Breers, Gareth Carvel, amongst others. So, it'll be a good chance to have a bit of the crack and camaraderie, and obviously raising some money for a fantastic cause.
Well, you've been a towering influence in the game, and we wish you the very best of luck with that. And thank you for giving us all those fantastic years in Super League.
Thank you, Angela. Cheers.
There are 10 players in all.
As well as Adrian and Kevin Sinfield, others hanging up their league boots include Gareth Carvel, Adi Gardner, Lee Gilmore, Wayne Godwin, Kylie Luluai, Chev Walker and Paul Wellens. And last but not least, the iconic Jamie Peacock, who leaves Leeds as one of the most successful players in the modern era. 11 Grand Final winners' rings, an MBE and a Man of Steel, just some of his achievements. We'll be following the last few weeks of his career in a special documentary programme to be broadcast later this year. Keep watching Sky Sports. Back to tonight's awards, and it's Jamie's club Leeds Rhinos who were named Club of the Year, while Warrington Wolves were named Foundation of the Year. Lizzie Jones, the widow of Danny Jones, the Keighley player who died tragically this year, was given the Spirit of Rugby League award. And so too, Young Player of the Year.
Wiggins, George Williams.
George, congratulations, Young Player of the Year. How does that feel?
I can't really believe it. I'm over the moon, and if someone had told me at the start of the year this was going to happen, playing a grand final and Young Player of the Year, I'd have ripped my hand off. So yeah, it couldn't go any better so far.
It's a reflection of the sort of season that you've had, though. You must be really pleased with the way things have gone.
Yeah, definitely. We had a bit of a shaky start as a team, Wigan, and for the last 3 or 4 months I'm really enjoying my rugby, and we found some great form. And like I said, we're at Old Trafford this Saturday, and it's the biggest game of my life, and I can't wait.
Obviously, playing in your position, it's a big responsibility, but you seem to have grown into it really well.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It helps when you have leaders around you like Sean O'Loughlin, Mickey Mack, Matty Smith, and players like that. They've mentored me, and I'm learning off them every day, and all the little things in training and how they approach games. So, like I said, I'm just learning every day and trying to make the best of me.
And Sean Wayne's shown a lot of faith in you as well. It must be great to have the coach sitting there giving you the thumbs up every time you're going on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%, and he said he'd stick by me even though it wasn't going so well at the start, and I can only thank him for the opportunity he gave me, and I'm just trying to thank him and repay him with how I play rugby now on the pitch.
Time for a short break now, but when we come back we'll be talking to the Coach of the Year and the Man of Steel himself.
Would you like to try some espresso? How about if I told you the first one you tried was actually Lidl's own?
Wow! Save over 30% when you shop a little smarter.
Sicario is the thriller of the year. Emily Blunt gives an Oscar-worthy performance. 5 stars. Sicario in cinemas now.
We created the Master Chief, so we're responsible when he kills civilians. Spartan Locke, your mission is go. Let's hunt him down.
Get the limited edition bundle.
Look at them. No idea they're still paying for phones they've already paid off. But now I've paid off my phone, my bill's been automatically halved. That's right. Hey, baby. Because you can tell by the way I use my walk that I'm on O2 Refresh. A puppy purse, like your style. It's showtime.
O2 Refresh automatically halves your bill when your phone's paid off, so you can get some shiny new smart tech. Find out more at o2.co.uk/refresh.
For those of you who like to share your breaks, try new Kit Kat Snap and Share.
At Oak Furnitureland, our solid hardwood sideboards start from only £6 a month with no deposit to pay. Oak Furnitureland, the home of solid real wood.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong. I learned how to get along. I will survive.
A lot of people laughed when they found out what I was up to. It's certainly a female-dominated field, but I felt that the pluses outweighed the minuses. The outfit can chafe a bit. Some people do call me names, but I get to work in a great team. And the fact is I get a front row seat at every Tornadoes home game. Who's laughing now?
This is the moment someone wins the car of their dreams. The moment they get behind the wheel for the first time. It's the moment they hear us say, "You're the winner." There's a guaranteed winner every week at BOTB.com. £16 million of prizes have already been won. Tickets start from just £3. Enter now and get £5 for free at BOTB.com.
For more ways to meet new people, download our new Match app and join free today.
Your world is in danger.
What other worlds are there?
When you created the singularity above Central City, you created a breach. If you got through, there'll be more to follow.
I may not have powers, but I want to stop them.
Locked and loaded.
Central City believes in the Flash. So do I.
Want me? You're gonna have to catch me.
Showtime.
The Flash returns. The unmissable new series starts Tuesday at 8 on Sky One.
Available to buy or rent in Sky Store now.
The brand new series of The Walking Dead starts Monday at 9, first on Fox.
Welcome back to this Boots and All special ahead of the grand final. It's nearly time to talk to the winner of the most prestigious individual award in the domestic game. There is a bigger trophy though, and that's the Super League trophy, and that's up for grabs tomorrow. And I've with me two men who've both won it. Our own Baz and Tez. Do you remember it very well, Tez?
It was a long time ago, Ange.
20 years.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was everyone was saying back in 1998, would it catch on? And it was fabulous. I always remember that. Probably one of the memories for me was when we did the lap of honour then, because it was that good. We did another lap of honour.
You just didn't want to come off the pitch?
I didn't want to come off the pitch because it was...
He was out of breath after his first one.
I couldn't remember the first lap, but it was absolutely sensational. And the way that it's really progressed and kicked on, it's tremendous, isn't it? And every year that players not only talk about the Challenge Cup, they talk about now that they all want to play in the grand final because that's the spectacle.
You didn't quite make that one. You were in the squad but didn't make that one, but you have won it since. Tell us about the magic of winning a grand final.
Well, for me, my personal journey, I had to work so hard to get there. I was over 30, 31, 32 when I got my first taste of Old Trafford as a Super League grand final, and I'd watched so many. I'd been in the squad, as you quite rightly mentioned, in '98, and we all knew that it was going to be something big. We all knew that it was the birth of what we've got now, which is just this extravaganza and the end-of-season finale that we all aim towards. That, you know, if we're honest, we looked across to the Southern Hemisphere, we wanted what they'd got, and I think we've got it now.
It's lost none of its magic over 2 decades, has it, Terry?
No.
It's still the one you want to be there.
It's stronger. Like all the players talk about it. People, when they come from Australia, they all focus on they want to get to the grand final because of the history that's got down under, but also to be a part of winning, like, you know, a big trophy, and to walk around with the ring on your finger and to show that you've been the best, not only during the year to get yourselves into a position to get to the final. Now this year it's been like the one game to get to the final from the semis. I just think that it's tremendous. You look at everyone, we've seen some brilliant players, some of the best from all over the world that have graced the ground, that have not even won. We're both fortunate that we've won, and we'll see 2 teams on Saturday that are going out there who will absolutely rip into each other to win that ring.
What will they be thinking right now, or on the eve of the game before they go out and to play in that great arena? What will they be feeling and thinking?
I'll answer the first question. What the players who are involved in the game are feeling right now tonight is, when can I get this over? When can I get back home, get back to my routine, go through my own little process to get myself ready? The night of the game, some teams choose to go to a hotel and control the environment. Other teams say, well, you sleep in your own bed tonight, we'll meet early tomorrow morning. And all the team will get together. So I suppose what they'll do is they'll probably leave nothing to chance, make sure they've eaten right, slept right, done the things that make them feel good, because they're in the peak of physical condition. The game plan and who they're playing against, they've played against each other 3 times already, I think it's 3, so this will be the 4th. So they know enough about their opposition, but it'll be about getting their own personal game right, in right working order, and making sure they give a really good account of themselves. It's all about the unity, and it's all about the collective and your individual part in that.
What I will say, Angela, is that the grand final, seeing I was lucky enough to play there 4 times, it's broke players. It's absolutely broke them just walking down the tunnel, walking onto the pitch, coming out onto the ground and looking at the atmosphere and hearing what's going on. It absolutely kills players. The good players, though, rise to the occasion.
I can't wait for it. But just in a word, and I think I know what you're going to say, who's going to win?
Leeds.
Wigan.
Well, we really didn't expect you to say anything else, did we? Thanks so much for that, lads. Well, it's been a special night for Sky Sports because our anchorman, Eddie Hemmings, has been inducted onto the Rugby Football League's Roll of Honour.
You devil. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Wow.
And the next award, Coach of the Year 2015.
Okay, and the winner is Brian McDermott.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Coach of the Year, Brian McDermott. Well, you deserve that.
Yeah, maybe. It's a tough old game, coaching, you know, so I think sometimes if your team wins, it masks a few things that go on midweek, and there's a fair few decent coaches in the Super League, and at times like this you think some of my best coaching days may have been at London, you know, when I coached Harlequins Rugby League there, but you don't have the squad that I've got at the moment, so yeah, I think a lot of recognition goes to the players, but certainly the staff that I work with spend an incredible amount of time in offices and behind laptops and with each other, you know, arguing, debating and talking about what's the best team to pick for that week or what's the best game plan. So, you know, while it's great for myself to be awarded this trophy, it's certainly a recognition of the players and but more importantly the staff.
It takes some strength of character to know what your vision is and know what you want to achieve and know what you can achieve from those hard days down in London all the way here to Leeds, and there were some knockers at the time as well, and you've delivered.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if I'd have been, if I would have had a good a time at Leeds had I not been at London first. That was such a good learning curve for me. You know, I did an apprenticeship under Tony Smith, and that was a big part of my coaching career. You know, a few things dropped and clicked for me. You know, in deciding whether I wanted to be a coach or not. But then to go down London and go do the hard yards down there, you have to coach. You have to coach. You can't manage the group. You can't just pick the best team. You can't just sit back and wait while a Callum Watkins or a Magsy goes do something special for you. You've actually got to coach the team, and your coaching. You know, we'd beat Leeds and Wigan down there. We'd beat Saints down there, and while we never won any silverware, there were some days where we'd come away from the ground and go, that was big. That was a big win. That, and I'm not sure whether people get how big those occasions are, but we did as a staff, and we recognise that. To then go, you know, to come to Leeds, and you know, it's almost like a complete role reversal. You know, then you are managing a squad and you're managing everything that comes with being at a big club, and it has its challenges equally as hard, but you're faced with different challenges. So again, I'm not sure if I'd have enjoyed my time as much at Leeds had I not done that grounding first. I'd have been at London. Another apprenticeship for sure.
It's been an exceptional year, it really has, but there's another step to take yet.
Just one more, yeah, just one more. And you know, I was speaking to Sean Wayne today. We did the press for the grand final, and we're both just swapping stories really, that, you know, just to get to the grand final, especially after this year. The format this year, you know, while it may work and it may be attractive, it may have made, you know, some of the TV games even more spectacular and dramatic. It's been a tough year as well, a physically tough year, really demanding year. And I don't know whether that's to do with half my squad's reaching 50 or it's just been, you know, that's the nature of the game. But to get to the grand final is a big thing, and it's an achievement in itself. But yeah, we've got a chance of doing something really special. We get, you know, if we do the job on Saturday, we get the treble, and not many teams get anywhere near that. So to do that, we have to beat Wigan, and Wigan are in good form. They're a strong team, very resilient team, very tough. So we'd have to have a big performance on Saturday to do that.
Well, you can enjoy this one in the meantime, and then enjoy that one on Saturday.
Hopefully.
Thanks and congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers.
So it's time for the big one now. Who is the Man of Steel? There were 3 nominations: Alex Walmsley from St Helens, and 2 Leeds players, Zach Hardacre and Adam Cuthbertson.
The 2015 Steve Prescott Man of Steel Award winner is Zach Hardacre of the Rhinos. Hayden's there. One more shot for us. Please fill up the cup. That's all you just want to see. Shake it up now, you home with me. You naked now.
Man of Steel 2015. Look at that. Look at that baby.
I know, I've still got shaking a little bit, you know. I didn't think I was going to win it all, if I'm being honest. I was overwhelmed with getting the nomination, and I know, I'm pretty speechless, to be fair. I can't believe it.
It is. It's a great specimen, but it represents what you've done this year. You've come a long, long way.
I have, yeah. I've worked hard this year, and but I've got to pay tribute to the team I play in. You know, I think everyone's been saying that tonight. I can't do my job properly if the rest of the guys aren't doing theirs. So I'm really thankful for the group of players that I'm playing in, the team that I'm representing, and the people that I've got behind me. So, you know, all my family and friends have been behind me all year, and all my friends believe that I'm going to win tonight. And my girlfriend said she had a funny feeling, but
Did you believe?
No, I generally didn't think I was going to win. I was going to enjoy the night, and you know, just being one of the 3, I was really happy and proud of that achievement. So to get the trophy and my name on it, it's pretty special, yeah.
Challenge Cup, League Leaders Shield, the Man of Steel. One more Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I was saying downstairs, you know, I think every player on Saturday needs to put 110% in to get the victory, because Wigan are a great team. They've been playing very well, and they'll be very confident winning Saturday. So we want to. Myself personally, I want to go out and win, but I think it's just a bit bigger on Saturday than personal pride. I think, you know, people are leaving, the treble's on, which is a bit of history in the making, and there's quite a lot on offer on Saturday. So I think the Leeds as a group and a whole and the club, with the feeling that there's something special on offer, will hopefully we'll go out and grab it.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy Saturday. Let's have a look at what got you this award.
Here we go, and here goes Hardacre. They're going to pay the price. Oh, that's great cover. Well done, Zach Hardacre.
Oh, wow, look at this. That's the cry of the week. Oh, the Man of Steel to the rescue. Yes, Hardacre is away. It'll take something to stop it. Good ball.
He's got the speed.
Try for Leeds. Here goes Hardacre up the middle.
Unbelievable defence.
Oh, great run. It's as well as Hardacre.
What an effort.
Absolutely brilliant from the young man. Oh, wow. Wonderful try. Wonderful, wonderful try from Zach Hardacre.
Enjoy Sky Sports Live. On all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.
In the kingdom of Shambhala lies the most precious thing to be found in all the world.
What's your angle on all this misery? You gonna plunder a few temples, loot the museum?
It's nice to see you two.
So, this little man is Drake.
Uncharted, 3 great games, 1 great collection, only on PS4. For the players.
There's music and there's laughter.
Introducing the all-new Renault Kadjar crossover. Start living.
At Oak Furnitureland, our solid hardwood sideboards start from only £6 a month with no deposit to pay. Oak Furnitureland, the home of solid real wood.
I moved here when I was 35, but this is the house I really grew up in. Because it's where I realised it wasn't just about me anymore. Saturday nights in aren't the most depressing thing imaginable. And as I've changed, I've realised my home has changed with me.
When a home means so much more than just bricks and mortar, you need an insurer you can rely on. Hiscox Home Insurance.
Look at them. No idea they're still paying for phones they've already paid off. But now I've paid off my phone, my bill's been automatically halved. That's right. Hey, baby. Because you can tell by the way I use my walk that I'm on O2 Refresh. A puppy purse, like your style. It's showtime.
O2 Refresh automatically halves your bill when your phone's paid off, so you can get some shiny new smart tech. Find out more at o2.co.uk/refresh.
You don't know what's in store. Open your head, take a glance. Don't be scared. I'm right here. You wanna be high.
The power of Boss. Ascend, the new fragrance for men.
Sensational stuff. What a performance for Pakistan.
Pakistan v England series, Tuesday at 6:30, live on Sky Sports.
A possible takeover of the sport. Will Red Bull stay or will they go? Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button are staying in 2016 and Renault to come into the sport. There is so much to talk about off the track, but on the track, it is Lewis Hamilton who leads the way by 48 points with 5 races to go.
Awesome stuff, Lewis. Fantastic job, guys. Absolutely flawless all weekend, you guys.
Join us for qualifying for the Russian Grand Prix tomorrow, 1 p.m, Sky Sports F1.
You're watching Sky Sports 3, your home of sport.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of the Super League on Sky Sports.
It really doesn't come much bigger than this. The 2014 First Utility Super League Grand Final was more than just a full-blooded argument to be settled amongst two noisy neighbours. St Helens against Wigan. We were at Old Trafford for the 17th time to crown the champions.
The pre-match entertainment is over. It's time for the players and the referee, Phil Bentham, to take centre stage. This fantastic stadium is waiting, and just before this match kicks off, our executive producer Neville Smith and the entire Sky Sports Rugby League team want to dedicate our broadcast to the memory of Joan Miller, who passed away very suddenly through the night. Joan was the wife of Mick Miller, our editor, who has been working all this week editing the features that you've been watching in the build-up, and who regularly edits the Backchat Superstars and all the Boots and All stories. Mick was due here at Old Trafford today and is a highly valued member of our team, and Joan's sudden death is a massive shock to us all. Mick, to you and your family, our deepest condolences, and our entire team are thinking of you tonight. So we await the first whistle, and there it is, and here's the first movement of this 2014 Grand Final. Charnley is underneath the kickoff. St Helens flying out of the kickoff and putting in the first crunch on Don Crosby.
What a start! We said it could be a classic, and from that very first hit and the tackle, Saints are really wound up on this one, and they did have a penalty.
Mossy Masoi going far too high.
Yeah, just a little bit over the top. That's the nervous energy. Sometimes you just cannot play it down. You could see that they were so built up for this for the same side.
A low-flying aircraft in the shape of Mossy Masoi. So here now is Anthony Gelling for the Saints, for the Wigan Warriors, taking on the St Helens defence down that right-hand side. Matty Smith gets the ball away to Ben Flower, the prop forward, Ben Flower. 27 next week, 17 times a Welsh international. He plays it to young Powell. What a night it is for Sam Powell. First Grand Final appearance and in the starting lineup because Michael McAlorum is out with that injured eye. The injury he picked up last week against Warrington. Powell again, quick play the ball by the Wigan Warriors. Blake Green to O'Loughlin to Matty Smith, and he finds Joel Tompkins.
Good work by Josh Jones. There's the man missing. Mickey McAlorum. They certainly will miss his guidance round the play the ball area.
Huge kick here into the corner by Blake Green. Oh, it bounces off Megginson. Oh, it's a try begging for Ben Flower. It's a try that was begging for Ben Flower. Oh, it's on.
She's on, boys.
It's on. Ohio is down and there's all sorts happening. First 2 minutes of the Grand Final and we have a mass brawl.
Well, we should have had a try. Ben Flower, it was there for the taking, and then all of a sudden, everything just exploded.
There looked to be a punch thrown by a Wigan player at a St Helens man. St Helens took exception to it and flew in. Was it Ben Flower?
Well, not to hire, hasn't moved. He's still now being treated by 2 physios and a doctor.
There's Ben Flower here. Keep an eye on that.
That's a red card, son. That's a red card.
And I just wanted to break down any sort of barriers. You know, we all shared the same dressing room. You know, they saw me naked, and you know, they didn't. I could cuddle them as mates. You know. We used to sleep together, all curled up together, as, you know, as little sardines in the back of the tour coach. It's like a relationship with everybody without the sex.
But what about sex without the relationship? Enter that mythical siren of the tour, the groupie.
Nobody really knows where the word came from. It's obviously an extension of the word group. I mean, back then we were either called a band or a group. So I suppose the word bandy wouldn't really work.
You're leading two lives, definitely. Not that it has to be, you know, nice at home and naughty away.
But the women weren't all at home anymore. Now they were band members, on tour and witness to bad boy behaviour.
One of the band, who should be nameless, used to send the roadies into the crowd and say, you know, tell that girl and that girl and that girl and that girl, ask them if they want to come up to my room for a party after the show.
Well, these young ladies want to come in for a drink, do they? Do they wheel them in?
You know, the men get their needs, there's nobody there. What do? This happens. Of course it happens, because they will take advantage. Guys can be assholes. They can.
And even when one has a partner who's going away on the road, you know it's going to happen. So you sort of, as long as you don't know about it, then that's fine, you know.
That's my wife, you know what I mean?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Your what?
Well, future wife, you know what I mean?
Oh, right, so where's the ring? And I'm sure that their partners must know that this goes on. They're stupid if they don't. You know, the right hand only goes so far.
Not many opportunities for sex when you're touring, mostly through the night to get to the next gig, to avoid having to pay for a bed. Health and safety just wasn't on tour with you in those days, hence the odd accident.
Yeah, we used to hear of the accidents because we were dealing with them, but they never made the press. I mean, I know lots of bands that had crashes, broken legs, you know, equipment smashed, but it wasn't press-worthy.
That all changed in May 1969 when Fairport Convention's tour van crashed on the way back from a gig at Mother's in Birmingham.
Our driver had got a bad stomach and he'd been complaining of being tired and unwell all day, and I did wake up in the van as it was somersaulting down the M1. And then I was concussed, knocked out, and when I came to, I was the only person or thing left inside the vehicle. The doors had all burst open, the windows were out. Everybody and all the kit was thrown out the back door. Somehow or other I'd remained inside. Everybody was on the ground, either dead or out for the count or moaning. It was a terrible realization of the risks that we were taking by just going to work.
In truth, bands have always subscribed to the have guitar, will travel ethos, clocking up the miles in whatever direction their gig book or manager sent them.
Are we there yet?
No. 100 miles to go.
A lot of those tours weren't that very well routed. You know, they look more like pentagrams.
I mean, you never get a gig. Hardly ever. You get a gigs, you know. I mean, you're always going that way and down here to go back up there.
Over there, down there. Now you got a day off and it'd be, well, what are we going to do? Well, it's easy, we'll just drive 300 miles.
We played one night in Portsmouth and the next night Glasgow. And it could have been the next night Southampton.
Hence, I think that was why a lot of drugs were, you know, speed became very popular with a lot of groups.
Initially Purple Hearts and speed, you know, amphetamine. And then I suppose to save losing brain cells, you know, you smoked a bit of dope and calmed you down. And then you had acid, which, you know, didn't know what was going on. I mean, anything could have been going on. And then you had cocaine, which, you know, got you through anything. I mean, you know, for a limited amount of time.
I can remember booking bands that were working over 300 days a year, and they were grateful. They thought that was wonderful. That was better than being, for them, working in a factory or pushing a pen in a stockbroker's office.
In your 20s, it's very easy to do all that stuff because that's the type of life that a young person wants. Indigent, feckless, unemployed, and on a crusade to save rock and roll.
As the 60s receded in the rearview mirror, up ahead we could clearly see touring 70s style.
Transit, the super van. More van for your money. More features than any other van. Transit is the super van.
You can buy second-hand, or you certainly could buy second-hand aircraft seats. You probably still can. And you put them in your van. So you could have more comfort. You could have, you know, you'd have a reclining seat.
It was Frontierland. It was real Frontierland, but that was the evolution.
And so there's lots of technology coming into the rock and roll business, and the aircraft seats were a big thing. People would look in other people's vans. Oh, look, they've got aircraft seats.
See, what you've got to remember as well is everything was new. Bands on the road was new. The whole new equipment side of things was new. So we just had to adapt all the time. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. It was a case of adapt or die, as bands became more popular and the business became more industrialised. The music was no longer free or even cheap. The seeds of the hippie dream of changing the world blossomed into a world that was changing anyway, one that we greedily embraced. In the late 60s, early 70s, we didn't have any proper monitoring or anything like that. The sound that you heard out the front was the sound that came off of the stage. But this wasn't really good enough for us musicians. We wanted much bigger things, louder things, more control. So it was the musician that dragged the equipment manufacturers into the 1970s. Phew, we've arrived just in time to catch the beginnings of true touring madness, the coming of supergroups, super shows and Pantechnicon lorries, full of state-of-the-art gear and elaborate sets, making their way to the next stadium and the next expensive hotel.
See, look at this. This is a Hilton, is it? Hilton. Conrad, if you're looking in, look, one soft one, one hard one. What the use is that? What's that about?
They used to call us saber-rattling and over the top and too flamboyant, but really, it was nothing compared to what you see today. We were just laying down a blueprint for everyone to sort of follow. The music should be great, but there should be some eye candy in there. There should be something for you to see. For some unknown reason, that particular time, we were always thought of as being super pretentious, so whatever we did, we just inflated that, and we just went along with it. Why not?
Why not indeed? During the early 70s, I was doing much the same, touring with Yes or journeying to the centre of the earth with increasingly elaborate music presentations. In the early days, it was band and van and one roadie. Just used to plug things in, really. You got a cable, if there was an amp and a hole, you plugged it in, that was it. But as you got bigger, meant more gear, more equipment, and none of us knew how to work it. That meant you had to have a road crew.
You're talking about a person who starts the day with a can of Special Brew and a spliff, you know.
Yeah, they're fucking nuts. Yeah. I mean, you've got to be mad to be road crew.
Well, they just arrived, I saw them. Yeah. They were last seen looking at daisies on the hard shoulder of the M6.
When you start out, you work with your mates. Your roadies are your mates. My first road crew and PA people were actually Robin Le Measurer and his young brother Jake. They were Hattie Jakes' sons, you know? It was always much more fun to employ your friends than it was to employ, shall we say, specialists. But the thing is, specialists are specialists for a reason. Your friends are there just to get pissed with, aren't they?
And they were just kind of around. People who had bands, who had kind of capability in the abstract and, you know, were kind of suited to that kind of life.
They're global nomads. They don't really have homes because they go from one tour to the next. They're a strange breed.
Got a beautiful lady and a nice mum and dad, and here I am on the road, completely tired out and don't know where I am. Stupid, isn't it?
You're not married by any chance, are you?
Used to be. Had to give it up. You know, a band, generally speaking, has a 2-year career. The roadie has one of 40.
We've unloaded this. I have to go back and do a little job for Yes. Come back, pick this lot up, take it to Stafford, back to Earl's Court. I've got 3 dates in France for the Who, back to Earl's Court again, load out and over to The Hague.
They can go from one tour to the next, to the next, to the next, and be on the road doing that every night for year after year after year.
You going to make it to 65?
No chance. I've got about 2 years left in me, I suppose, when I boogie around. You know what I mean? Really? Not surprised I'm here now. That's a miracle. Never thought I'd make it this morning.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
We did a recording in Mono Studio in Wales, and the guy was showing us the piano where Freddie Mercury did Bohemian Rhapsody. And he said, yeah, he said, they were a very strange group, Queen. He said, when the crew turned up, he said they all had sports cars and they all had girls with them and everything, like this lot, and he thought he was the band, this guy. He said, oh, are you the band? You know, you don't look like the band. And he went, no, we're the crew. He said, but don't tell the band we've got sports cars because we've got our own crew. And the crew had employed their own crew to bring all the gear in while they were living the life of Riley, and just said, don't tell the band.
For those bands on the other side of the tracks, touring was making more modest progress in the 70s, even as the decade began to acquire a taste for something smaller, more up close and personal.
We didn't have a roadie. We'd hump our own equipment, put it in the van.
We had a van, yeah.
Well, in fact, Wilco and the drummer used to hire a van, put all the equipment in from his garage, come and pick me up, drive to the gig, take all the equipment out, set it all up, do the gig, then after the gig, take it all down, put it back in the van, drive me home, and then drive home.
And then we would drive back to Southend and have to take it all out of the van again
back
and
into
put it
his
into my garage. Me and Savvy, the drummer, we got it down so we could do it in 5 minutes. we were just, we had a whole routine of it. You know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Right,
luckily, we were a 3-piece.
Bands like Dr. Feelgood quickly graduated to newly established rock venues for acts on the way up. Bands too big for pubs, but too small for stadiums.
There were a few great venues that you sort of aspired to play in when you were in a band in the early 70s. One was Friars in Aylesbury, but a very iconic one is exactly where I'm sitting now, which is the Boston Gliderdrome. This place, absolutely fantastic. You could squeeze 1,200 people in there. Sometimes, in fact, they squeezed a lot more in. It was a far cry from the old working men's clubs and pubs that you used to play in. If you played somewhere like the Boston Gliderdrome, you really felt you'd made it.
A crowd of people, they're all going,
show them what you can do.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Twice during the 70s.
By the mid-70s, many more girls were making their own records and having their own brand of tour fun, and not just as vocalists. When Suzi Quatro strapped on a bass, she unwittingly inspired a generation of women rockers to take control of the wheel.
I had to establish my boundaries, right away. I didn't want anybody getting fresh or funny with me. I was very careful about being one of the guys, could tell the joke, they could swear to a point, certain words were not allowed, and if they stepped over the line, they didn't do it again. One time a guy came dancing up close to the stage and he made this rude tongue sticking out gesture. So I danced a little bit closer and whacked him over the head with the end of my bass guitar. All by mistake, of course. And that's a heavy instrument. Bang!
By 1976, the music had changed again, and so had the venues. Punk now threatened to tour the country, and with it, all-girl bands like the Slits and the heavy metal punk foursome Girl School.
We were playing, say, punk clubs, you know, getting changed in toilets with all the wee on the floor and all the rest of it, you know. And there was a lot of girls getting up and just doing stuff. Well, everybody was getting up and doing stuff, really, at that point. The boys that we knew that were playing didn't want to know. They didn't want girls in the band. It was as simple as that. The only way we could form a band was to find other like-minded girls. It used to be like going into the unknown. We'd go off in this Bedford van with, of course, all the gear was laid out in the back, and we'd have sleeping bags on the top, and we'd all sleep on top of the gear. I mean, literally, we had about that much space between us and the ceiling like this. It was a lot easier, especially when you're travelling on top of gear in the back of a Bedford van, that you were all girls. Our drummer, Denise, used to go have all this pent-up energy, and we used to literally have to stop the van and let her have a run around every now and again. But then, of course, with Denise, she's very lucky because she can sleep anywhere. I mean, literally anywhere. All she does, she could be upright like this. In fact, she used to be like in the bed with sometimes, up like this. Put a jacket on her head, that'd be it. Out. Gone. It's like a budgie.
When Ultimate Tour monster Lemmy was looking for a support band for the first UK Motorhead tour in 1979, he chose Girl School to share the tour bus, the booze and the backstage fun.
A lot of people in those days would actually pay to go on a tour like that. Of course, they used to come in with crates of beer for us and look after us and all that. I remember one morning knocking on Lemmy's door in a hotel. I said, oh, blimey, you're up early. I haven't been to bed yet. Lemmy in his underpants and those goggle-eye things. Oh, poor drummer again, sorry Denise. But of course her socks used to be quite smelly every now and again, and they'd just go out the window. And her shoes went out the window one day as well.
That's the trouble with being cooped up in vans and coaches with your bandmates. Camaraderie becomes claustrophobia, and friendships become fragile.
It starts off with that kind of gang mentality where it's you against the world, right?
But then it only takes one to crack and bring bad news aboard, and of course you're going to get friction.
You've been sitting about on the bus drinking a couple of bottles of tequila or whatever, and then an old sort of little thing. Why did you do that? And then it all starts, right?
You end up kind of going, bastard's taking the last prisoner. He did that 3 years ago in Munich. Fucking bastard. He's done it again, hasn't he?
But of course, little nigglements kind of can tend to sort of like get bigger and bigger and bigger, and
it's like, who's eating all the cheese sandwiches? Oh, really? Nice, were they?
Then it's kind of crazy. Next morning, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Let's have a spliff and forget about it. You know what I mean? That kind of deal, you know? So it's just like that, you know? It's fun.
If you thought those early 60s tours were weird concoctions guaranteed to scramble any discerning musical mind, have a taste of vintage 1977 tour madness. Unicorns in UB40 land, T-Rex and the Damned.
Punk audience, my audience. I mean, it was 3/4 Mark Bolan audience, a quarter Damned, and it ended up 100% a rock and roll fan club.
Mark was really cool. I mean, I'd heard all these stories about Mark being this way or that way, but he was totally kind of clean and fresh, and he'd be sort of jogging around the forecourts of the services and his little green tracksuit, and really open. I mean, he talked to you about anything. It was really helpful to us.
Punk's got to get away from all this terrible on the streets is all wrong.
They were constantly out, trying to out-punk us, getting fishing wire and tying it so that the people in the services, like carrying the plates and stuff, would trip over it, all this kind of things, you know.
Punk them up. Be outrageous. Rip your knickers off. Do whatever you're gonna do.
I got a feeling inside of me. It's kind of strange, like a stormy sea. I don't know why, I don't know why. I guess it seems...
As it travelled deeper into the 70s, British touring began more and more to reflect the changing makeup of the nation.
I can't stop to mess around. I got a brand new rose in town.
But what was being played still had to do the same things. Unload a van, perform. Load a van, drive. Unload a van, perform. Load a van, drive. Unload a van, perform. Load a van, drive. Unload a van, perform.
My first thing in touring was with a sound system. Now, sound systems, to those who don't know, are really just like a portable DJ system. But obviously in reggae, you have some boxes that have massive 18-inch speakers, and you have a massive truck. So I spent quite a few journeys up and down the motorway in the back of a truck lying on a speaker. There was no real tours. Tours didn't happen till, I think, later, I think the advent of Bob Marley. We had a show in Scotland, Loch Moben. We drove actually through the town. And suddenly there was a, hold on, wait a minute, we've gone past it. We had to turn around and come back. And I remember we got to the gig, and it was like, whoa, this is, you know, it's in the middle of nowhere. We know what's going to happen. Time for the show, and the place was absolutely, it was caught. Fantastic gig, and then as the gig finished, bang, everyone was gone. It's one of those.
The ultimate tour cliché, which began in the 60s with legendary lunatics like The Who's Keith Moon, is that we all enjoy trashing hotel rooms. The ultimate expression of the true tedium of touring.
I mean, Keith used to be well known for throwing TVs out of the room. And that's basically because either they'd be on a room service at midnight, asking for a cup of tea or a sandwich or a beer or something, and they wouldn't answer the phone. So he just used to throw the TV out the room, and then they'd ring up and say, "You just throw the TV out the room?" He said, "Yeah, pick up the bloody phone next time. I want a cheese and pickle sandwich."
Let me tell you, room wrecking is something that needs to happen in every band's life. I'm trying to say this with a straight face. It needs to happen.
Things happen sometimes, accidents, you know. But no, I've never chucked a telly out of a hotel window.
Do you know how much fun it is? It's absolutely blinding.
I guess the whole thing is to leave it plugged in and see how long the TV plays for before it hits the ground. But it's just the length of the lead, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like...
And you'll be with a bunch of people going, yeah!
Wasn't that really great? Hey, watch this, you. And I found it's a drag, man, because they don't break. You know, you can, and you throw them out, and they just bounce, man. And so, you know, people talking about television exploding, it won't. It doesn't break. It just bounces. It's boring. It's just not worth doing.
What does it mean? Is that included in the deal? That was rock bands. And rock bands have had an earlier association with that touring and throwing TVs out the window and whatever. Remember, these were bands that had signed to companies, so, you know, they had some kind of backing. We're a young black band, and where the punks could get away with it, a young black band couldn't.
I've almost come full circle in my time-travelling tour bus. After 30 years on the road, here we are back touring on British Rail. Without Bill Haley, but this time we're Stiff. Stiff Records, in fact, on its UK tour of 1978. Happily, third class was now a thing of the past. In fact, according to this stunt, everyone was first class. And most importantly, this train didn't answer to British Rail. It was paid for by the record company.
We hired a train from British Rail and put a big B-Stiff logo along the side of it. It was great. It was really, really good.
The furthest north we get is Wick, which is near John O'Groats. I'm told, I've never been there. It looks interesting on the map. We've got a day off there, actually, just to excite everyone to death.
We got those Pullman carriages. We could have had modern stuff, but we wanted the Pullmans to have those little first class with a sliding door, so everyone was in their little compartment. It was fantastic. All the people who were on it, pretty much, except Reckless Eric, I think, who didn't enjoy it. Everybody else thought it was, you know, the way to tour. They thought that was as sophisticated, you know, it was like Agatha Christie. It was just fantastic.
And so finally to the modern tour bus. This was very much pioneered by the Americans in the 1970s and was the answer to every single touring problem. They were spacious, they were comfortable, they had all the mod cons, and they were designed for both living as well as travelling. Yeah, the music has changed, touring and some of the venues have changed, but thankfully the behaviour hasn't.
You're hearing people farting, you're seeing things you shouldn't see that fall out of people's underwear when they're getting up, and me as well. When you're climbing out of your bed, you're not always dressed, and the beds aren't that big. You know, you've got your life is in the bed with you, your crisps and all that lot that you're hiding from everyone, your drink, and in your little bunk, that little space is yours.
It becomes like a travelling hotel room, doesn't it? So if you're going to do what you do in a hotel room, you pretty much do it on the bus.
There's very little sex on rock and roll buses. There's too many people on the bus, you can't get any privacy. And your bed is 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. It's like trying to make love in a coffin.
Where's the will, there's a way. No, we were very, very good though. I mean, we weren't that rock and roll at all. Is my nose growing? Has it gone out of shot?
Now, it is true that some of us boys were very naughty way back then, but trust me, some of the girls could be even naughtier.
I have taken a lad on the bus, but only to piss Sean off years ago. And I left him in Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere. I'd just gone right off him. He was like a proper vegan, though. No, you know, his shampoo smelled of herb. No. No, it smelled really herby. Really herbally. Can still smell it now. No. Oh, yeah, as well. And then when you've got films to watch on the bus, there was a choice, Dancing with Wolves or In Bed with Madonna, and he went for the wrong one. He went for Dances with Wolves.
My favourite tour bus story was with Primal Scream, was a guy called Fatty Malloy. And they were at a gig somewhere. They were all very well juiced. And Fatty said, "Oh, we've run out of beer." And he went, "I know." He said, "I'll go to the band bus they'll have loads of beer and go and get it. So he goes to the door, opens the door, steps out. It was fucking going. He was doing 70 mile an hour on the freeway.
It's a lonely, insular existence. Nothing exists except the drive, going to some dive, playing 3 or 4 sets a night. That was normal. It's a funny kind of world, a twilight world.
You know, you get off the road. If you've been on the road for 6 months, you've been in this bubble. You know, I do remember once wanting to pick up the phone in my own house to call room service. Thinking, oh yeah, no, I'm at home. The only person that's going to bring me food is me.
I used to find that about 10 o'clock I'd get twitchy. Or gig time, show time. And I'd be quite all right filling the day and just be hanging out, and then it'd get to 10 o'clock. I think I'll have a glass of wine, you know.
You have to do it. There is no other way. If I was told by my agent one day, you can't tour for at least 2 years anywhere. Why? Why? Because nobody wants to see you. Whoa. There we go. Good enough for an old boy. Woohoo! Knock 'em dead, boy. Knock 'em dead.
You can't just sit still. The competition's fierce. You've got to be loved by everyone if you can. You know, you've got to reach into every home and every heart.
Suddenly there's a realisation that you have become what you set out to be, and there's no turning back. Actually, you've overcommitted, and now what's going to happen next?
In this discussion this evening, we've romanticised and brought back some of the memories of some of those halls and travelling around and some of the adventures that happened. And you think, oh, that was great. But I bet you if I went back there now and had to drive that van, I'd go, I can't do this. I think looking back is better than being there, maybe.
You know, it really wasn't uncommon to do 2 shows in one night. You do like an 8 o'clock show, somewhere like here, and then get in the van and go off and do a midnight show, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. Where's the van? Come on, where's the van? Oh, come on. Come on, let me in. Where's the van?
I've played around, I've slayed around this old town so long. Summer's almost gone, yeah, the winter's coming on. I've played around and I've played around this old town so long, and I feel like I gotta travel on.
The most fearless men in the home counties are back
You ready to rumble?
with fiercer rivals.
We are now a highly efficient unit of elite detectorists. What you call the Dirt Sharks.
And greater discoveries.
The inscription in Latin, as it said, status quo.
Detect the excitement
Can't decide whether to watch the salad or not.
with Detectorists Series 2. Coming soon to BBC 4.
And that's it from us this evening. Contains Strong Language, the BBC's poetry season, comes to BBC 4 tomorrow as 2 of Britain's most popular poets meet to discuss their careers and their craft and their shared Yorkshire backgrounds. Simon Armitage in conversation with Tony Harrison at 8. At 9, A.N. Wilson marks the 30th anniversary of Philip Larkin's death with Return to Larkinland. And at 10:30, the heartbreaking story of Sophie Lancaster, kicked to death for looking different in Black Roses. For now, though, we're right out of time, so until then, good night.